Mommy Track Daddy Whispers podcast is now called Birth Agni Podcast.
Welcome to Mommy Track Daddy Whispers podcast, Season 3. If you are a pregnant mother and wondering whether yoga is for you or not, then this crisp conversation should help.
So I would rather say the movement is so important. We are not giving gravity a chance to work on the baby, to pull the baby in the right position. I've literally seen many of my students who become literally robotic once they become pregnant. Their postures, their gaits, their walking, everything gets so restricted.
To take this conversation forward, I am more than delighted to have Megha Jaggi, a prenatal and post-birth yoga instructor who is an MA in yoga and runs the Wellness Cocoon, a center that specializes in yoga for pregnant and new mothers. I am Divya, a certified lactation counselor and birth educator. I help you prepare for breastfeeding, labor management care, and so much more. You could visit my website www.birthagni.com and opt for a complimentary 20 minutes conversation for me. And here is the news. Listen carefully. We are rebranding the podcast. It will be called Birth Agni very soon, and we will have more segments, one of which I'm particularly excited about is birth stories, stories of birth from India. These changes will be effective starting January, so wait for it. Megha, welcome to the podcast. So glad to have you here.
Hi, Divya. Thank you for calling me here.
Megha, one of the questions I've been bombarded with is how should mothers who've never exercised before start exercising? Is it advised that they start right in pregnancy? Is it advised that guided exercise is way better under a trainer? How does one find the right trainer if one has to go for prenatal yoga?
Yeah. So that's a very important question, Divya, because there's so many prenatal trainers around now. But yes, one should, of course, not only check on the certifications of the trainer, but at the same time check out on the experience in terms of how many cases they have been handling, and because every pregnancy is different, all the trimesters are even different. No two pregnancies, even two children of the same mother, even their pregnancies are different. So I would say that every pregnancy gives is on its own. It's a different case study, right from the pregnancy trimesters to the birthing part and all of it. So, and even to the healing part, even to the rehabilitation, post birthing also. Everyone has a different story. So, you'll certainly look out for the certifications. Be sure that you also check out for their experience with this.
Yeah. And in times of COVID, when the presence of a trainer is not there when it comes to guided practice, so with the online platforms that are available for everything, there is an availability for guided practice as well. How does that differ from a physical practice? And should there be any should there be a word of caution? It's fine to move ahead and go for online classes as well.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's again a valid one, because I'll rather put this as a continuity from the first earlier question that I answered. That yes, once your trainer is experienced enough, that will mean that it's been more than 2 years that now we are doing online classes already, and it's absolutely safe for all the expecting moms that they can surely get into an online class. But yes, again, if the trainer is experienced, okay, coming to a non-experienced trainer and that too on an online mode, I'm not sure about that. But yes, it should be seen that the trainer is watching your movements closely, is totally connected with you for all the little detailing. Okay.
Mm.
And yes, if I talk about offline, then offline can take a little edge above because we are there physically to for their support. But any day, the online also doesn't really lag behind because it is safe. Now it has its own pros and cons. Everything has it. So it is safe. There is no exposure. Plus, there is no rush to reach. So you save on your time, and so these are the factors behind, I would say, important ones behind an online. So it's better that you stay safe and you practice online than not no practice at all.
Mm.
But it's definitely 100% safe if you are in the correct hands
Yeah.
and experienced hands, I would say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
makes sense. Makes sense. So when I started exercising, I remember there were so many exercises. In fact, when you are expecting the entire region from your chest to your shoulders, it narrows down. So there are stretching exercises that really helps and all of that. So when it comes to exercising in pregnancy, to answer the very common question that comes across, is exercise intense? And do not climb the stairs. Do not pick up something heavy. And so on the same lines, don't start exercise because it's going to be intense. We attach the word intense
No,
with
no, no, no. So this is something which I don't know, I mean, n number of times I have already told my students that, please be into your normal life. Please make the elderlies around you or maybe your in-laws understand that, bending is not so bad for you. It's not going to harm you if you're bending in the right way, right manner. There's a way how you can even lift the objects. Climbing up the stairs only prohibited if there is low placenta. Otherwise it's absolutely okay. And not only this, so many little activities throughout the day. It's just a normal life. It's just a normal phase of a woman's life cycle. Just like there's a monthly cycle, same way conceiving, delivering, birthing, and rehabilitating from birthing, all of is a natural, totally natural phase of a woman's life. So it should not be put under the magnifying glass.
right. I love it. Magnifying glass. We are then nitpicking in the entire pregnancy. Do this. Don't do this. And
Yeah, it's absolutely not. Nothing is required. Why do you want to give so much of stress to the fetus, to the mom? Why do you want to give so much of stress for no reasons at all? Rather, I would say on the contrary, today's females are sitting so much. They're sitting so much. Have you seen your moms or your grandmoms sitting so much? They were working. They were doing all the household chores while they were also having a simple sorted birth with a midwife at home only. So that's why, because they were so active. They were not practicing. They were not doing yoga. Already we are having a luxurious life. We have helps around. We are already moving less. So I would rather say the movement is so important. We are not giving gravity a chance to work on the baby, to pull the baby in the right position, in the cephalic position. The head is not coming down. The baby is still in the breech position because the mother's movement is not there. And it's so important to get into a normal routine. Do everything what you like to do. Of course, keep your walks. It's so important to walk, and let gravity work on the baby. Let gravity take its own way.
and posture is something that is really important in pregnancy. And
Yeah, because that's again, we can connect it this way that, as I just said in the last answer, that movement is medicine. Movement works like medicine for all of us. We are not meant. Our bodies are not meant to just be stagnant and sit. I've literally seen many of my students who become literally robotic once they become pregnant. Their postures, their gaits, their walking, everything gets so restricted. And I'm rather than taking them through the session, I'm mostly counseling them about, you need to loosen up. You need to loosen up. Why do you restricting yourself, your body so much?
do you also think that there's a lot of fear attached to pregnancy now than it was before, probably? So when you're walking, when you're taking the steps, you're too cautious. I was too cautious. I remember I would sit very gently on the chair, even in the second trimester. I don't know why I did that. Now I think of it, I was like, what was I thinking? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I saw. Because see, if someone has some problems, like someone has a pelvic girdle pain, or someone has very low iron, because of which your legs are always aching, so that's a separate case. Okay. But if your pregnancy is going okay as a smooth sailing, then what's holding you back? I mean, you should be okay. It's just that in the mind it's a little stuck up. And ironically, the mom-in-laws who have been themselves active, and the great mom, they are the ones who tell us that, okay,
Relax.
relax, and so we don't have to be such delicate darlings. Absolutely, it's not required.
Yeah.
It's, as I said earlier also, it's just a natural, normal phase, and you should be enjoying it. And yeah, that's about it. Keep moving.
Yeah. And for somebody who's never exercised before and is still a little skeptic to start exercising in pregnancy due to any reason, cannot wrap their hand around the fact that they should be exercising. So walking comes naturally to a lot of us. So would walking as an exercise be great? Just that.
Yeah, walking is great. Of course, it is really, really helpful. But if you add yoga to it, it gets much, much better. Because the stretches, the breathing exercises, the stretches coming from the postures, the movements, plus your, the meditations and your chants and affirmations, and all of that is not covered. Of course, walking is important, but then all of it would be left out. Start with at least thrice a week of yoga practice, and keep on walking throughout, even till the last day.
Yoga for conception. I kind of read somewhere that even when you're trying to conceive, you should be, as a part of preparing to have that baby, you should work on your lifestyle. Eating right is one, exercising is two. So when you're starting to think about the baby, that's when you should start exercising. How true is that?
This is 200% true to me, because now everyone knows the importance of exercises. Post-COVID, everyone knows about it. Yeah. So now we are more aware of that, that how important the health is and how much we need to prioritize our own bodies. But yes, so for example, just giving you a very, very casual example. For example, a farmer has a seed to sow. Okay, so of course he will improve the soil's quality first, right? Once the seed is sown, the sapling which is coming out is healthy. Yeah. So same way, the uterus will be strong enough to hold the baby's weight, and your pregnancy will go smooth sailing. Another catch to this is, which I kind of thought of in my second pregnancy, was that I was using yoga only. Yoga helped me a lot to lose a little weight, because that was a planned stuff, because I was watching my diet, I was holding on to the portions and all, though it was always a balanced diet, so no fat diet ever. But yeah, so that helped me to lose, because I knew that once I planned, I would be again going up the scale. So that is because it was planned and it was pre-planned that, okay, then I lose. So even if I gain, I won't be going over the top.
Right.
So that helped me to get back to my shape very, very quickly. Yeah, so that's another reason why everyone should be thinking of choosing, rather than choose yoga for conception. Of course, the quality of the eggs also is different. Your hormone secretion is also much better if you meditate, if you practice yoga, because it works on your chakras, it balances out your entire body chakras. So the lymphatic drainage is better, the lymphatic system starts working better. So all in all, it's a sync. Just for that matter, if you practice prior, then nothing like it. So it's kind of a cycle also which goes, because many females, their approach is such that they come practice for conception. Good 3 months they practice before conceiving. Once they conceive naturally, then the prenatal starts. Okay, and yes, there was. I'll answer your question then about when to start. So if you are a practitioner already, you can do a very gentle practice in the first 3 months. and of course under the supervision of a experienced trainer. And once the first trimester is gone, then the second and the third as the prenatals. Then the cycle means that after birthing, 4 weeks of, if it's a normal delivery, 8 weeks if it is a C-section. After this tenure, you can get into your postnatal rehab. Yeah, so it's a cycle, and then you get back into your regular yoga class, be it a batch, be it after maybe about three months or couple of months of postnatal. Okay, so well, anyways, the call is all yours, but this is what I feel, that then you can go back to your regular, because the underlying fact is that yoga is for life.
A beautiful example there where you talked about sowing of the seed and everything. A beautiful, beautiful example there. While you were explaining the pregnancy and planning your pregnancy in a way that you're able to get back in shape even postpartum, I was thinking of one of the issues that's very common in pregnancy, that's dribbling of urine. So does yoga in pregnancy itself also help reduce dribbling of urine?
Yeah, see, well, during pregnancy, because the bladder is, and rather not only the bladder, but the baby's weight is creating a lot of pressure on all the organs, right? So the bladder, you will feel the urge to empty the bladder is more, okay, during the last trimester. So that's totally okay. And yes, so if you strengthen your pelvic floor muscles, so definitely, you can also work on that. If you have that urine incontinence problem which is there, definitely through the exercises it can be worked upon. Yes,
it can be worked upon. Wonderful. So all in all, yoga is something that is transformatory in a way that it helps you get in tune with your own body signals, and it's not just for the physical health, it's the overall holistic health. We were talking earlier that fitness for you is being able to have a holistic approach to health. And one of the things that you also said was the emotional regulation. So pregnancy is a time that for me, I had my trigger points, and I knew that these were my trigger points. So pregnancy is a time that our emotions get heightened due to all the hormonal surges and changes. How does yoga help balance that emotional well-being?
see, because as I said, that how it works is, it works at the cellular level, it works at the hormonal level. So the lymphatic system, once it starts working better, so our hormonal secretions are better. And in any which ways, during pregnancy, the hormones are on roller coaster, as I said. So through yoga, definitely, and not only through yoga, not only through the physical exercises, but through mindful monitoring, mindful meditations, maybe a yoga nidra, maybe a guided body scan, and even through the breathing exercises. When you are more attuned with yourself, the hormonal secretion will be better. So this is going to, all in all, be very, very helpful.
These days we hear that a lot of women are not able to have natural labor pains. Is the lack of exercise also one of the reasons for not being able to have natural pains?
Yeah, it can be that they are too sedentary. Second is that we are not mindful. Sadly, we are just always multitasking. We are not mindful. We are not doing any single tasking. Hardly we are doing any single tasking. So what I feel is that the release of oxytocin, which is an important hormone, to trigger the labor. And everything is controlled by the pituitary, controlled by the hypothalamus. So see, it's, as I said, it's all coming back to back. It's boiling down. Everything boils down to the hormones only. So if we correct the sleep cycle, if the sleep is improper, and we know that pregnancy means disrupted sleep, okay? So even typically during the last trimester, I'll give you an example. I've had a student who was not sleeping at all because because her date was kind of left behind, and she was nearing the 40th week, and she was 39th and 40th week, and she was anxious because the first time moms are, of course, that's understood for obvious reasons, they are more anxious. Yeah. So her anxiety was not letting her sleep. So I somehow thought that we should do a sound healing for her. That's with the singing bowls, and which will help her relax. So interestingly, that sound healing worked on her in such a nice way that she slept very well, and she got into a good sleep mode. And because of the sleep factor, she got into a natural labor. And again, to my surprise, it was something which did not come written in any of my certifications or books, but something which I thought, logically, when I sat and thought on it, I thought, okay, let's work out for her in this way, because where she's stuck, I'm aware. So, and it worked for two of the students. Same ways, the singing, the sound healing worked for getting them into labor, and it was in 2 days that she delivered. Then she delivered normally. What I mean to say is that everything is, again, we have the hormones behind.
It brings back the faith in the power of human body and the brain that is actually guiding the entire body to work. So, like we say in birth, your environment is your key. So, if your environment is full of fear, if you're being checked too much, if you aren't sure what's happening, it's going to affect how you birth. It's going to affect how your labor continues. So, all of this kind of, like you said, brings together or bundles up the fact that we are physiological beings. I repeat this word, I think, in all of the episodes, that we are physiological beings. How we feel is going to reflect on how we are going to progress, how we are going to do in our life. And yoga kind of always helps balance that, like you said, mindfulness, add mindfulness to our life. So I think that was a great session, Megha. Thank you so much for coming on board and sharing beautiful examples with us. It was really interesting and insightful. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Divya. Rather, I would also appreciate the flow of the questions and the interesting questions that you have actually thought of. So it was really good. Thank you.
We could cover more on yoga any day, but this was it for this episode. If you have any more questions, drop them to me at birthagni@gmail.com. And if this made any positive change on your journey, consider giving the podcast a rating on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, like the episode on whichever platform you're listening to it from. If you want to reach out to me, it is easy. You can go to the website www.birthagni.com and click on Book a Free Session and write to me. Next up is a conversation on maternal emotional health, particularly postpartum anxiety and stress, with somatic therapist and healer Sangheetha Parthasarathy. On the pregnancy series, we will have a series on pregnancy affirmation. I'm working on it. This will be out very soon. It's going to be a series of episodes on pregnancy affirmation, which you can use to assist you in meditation during pregnancy. Do not forget to come back. And remember, Mama, you got the power. Stay tuned.